All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on? Tweezy, Rob, Ben, Sean Sullivan, Brian England, Sean, Wyatt, Theo. Who else we got? And the great Jordan. What is going on, everybody? Rio, what is going on? My man, Ross K. Hope everybody out there having a good Wednesday. Somebody tonight will be having a phenomenal Wednesday. $1 million up top in the NBA streets. Not something you see every day. A little above my bankroll. I thought about it. I will not be firing. No satellites were won over here, but I know Tambo, a couple SHIPIT Nation members in there. So good luck to you. Winning that million would be something. Good prize pools, though, throughout the industry as always. 7 games, joined by my man Rio. How's it going? How was your last night? And any thoughts on this slate?
Yeah, last night was good. Followed up my Kyle Kuzma call with a lowish owned De'Aaron Fox. Had a good night. Didn't really matter, though, because Donovan Mitchell went for almost 70. But, you know, we were on him a little bit on the show. But, yeah, we got a ton of injury news that just hit right as we went live. So we'll definitely touch on that. But, yeah, this slate's okay. Had a tough time writing it up last night. Not a ton of great games and a lot of teams on back-to-back. So I'm sure that it's going to be a mess of a slate when we get all the injury news out.
Yeah, I mean, so much injury news. And we just got Houston, Fred VanVleet out, Tari Eason questionable, Jayshawn Tate out. Other news we're waiting on. Again, we'll go game by game, talk about Q tags, if-then scenarios like usual. But LeBron questionable like he usually is. KD's questionable, Jokic questionable, Jamal Murray questionable, Aaron Gordon questionable, Clarkson questionable, Keegan Murray questionable, Grayson Allen questionable. Then we just got this Rockets news as well. So going to be a fun slate. Any initial thoughts? My initial thoughts coming in before all this news was value isn't great. It's not really a stars and scrubs slate. I want this mid-tier, it's kind of the story, I think, of the beginning of the NBA season, as it usually is. Injuries, there's more injuries as the season goes on. More random news opens up late, but DK pricing been tighter. So I've been thinking balance. I'm still not sure this news exactly changes it to a stars and scrubs. What are your thoughts there before you go game by game?
Yeah, I definitely think that there's going to be some more guys that will get ruled out. Just last night, a lot of teams playing their star players close to 40 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody on the Kings sit, like maybe De'Aaron Fox. Wouldn't be surprised if we get Sengun out at some point today, or maybe even LeBron, with it being a front end of a back-to-back versus the worst team in the league. So, yeah, we'll definitely we'll have updates in the Discord and on my slate plan as we get all that news. But yeah, definitely should open up the slate. DraftKings been doing a way good job of updating the pricing so there's not any smash values. You know, you had a couple situations where a guy like Joel Embiid will be ruled out, but Paul Reed, his backup, is at 5K, where normally he's priced in the low 3Ks, and it's just not the same value that we've gotten in years before. So they've done a good job making it a little bit more competitive and having to change the roster construction.
Yeah, I agree. And so LeBron, they actually finally play at 7 Eastern up in Detroit. So they're not the late game. So we'll get that news for sure. Denver's the big spot at 9 p.m. Eastern. So slate starts at 7, 2 games at 7, 1 at 7:30, 2 at 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 at 9, which is that Denver game, and then 1 at 10. That's the big one. Like Jokic, Aaron Gordon, Jamal, all questionable. Jokic been a Q tag a decent amount. It feels like to start has played. Gordon, Jamal, more questionable. Do you have any leans on that? Are you going to be – they are playing the Rockets, and they just listed their guys out, or Fred VanVleet mainly. So probably some interest in that game. Are you backloading it all for that, though? What are your thoughts there, just broad scope overview?
So I think both Jokic and Jamal will be back tonight. I just think that the injury last game for Jokic was just trying to get him a night off, just him playing huge minutes and having to carry huge workload with no Jamal. Jamal has been ramping up a lot, so he's been practicing a little bit. I think he's probably back tonight on a pretty strict minutes limit, and probably will definitely I mean, you're going to want to have some pieces in the Rockets game now, I think. Fred VanVleet's going to leave behind a ton of usage. So I think you're seeing where the projections go. I think you might want to have a few teams backloaded.
But not necessarily. You think they play, so like I don't care about Aaron Gordon really. If you lean there in, I'm not really going to be back. Like you'll naturally have some pieces of Houston in that game. So that answered that question. I like it. Let's go game by game. Cool Hands in here, Mark in here, William, Kidline, and Charlie. What's going on, everybody? Michael Vasquez. All we ask from you on the show, like button helps us out a ton, helps Mayo out. Hit that subscribe button. Then also head over to the SHIPIT Nation YouTube channel. We do NBA shows over there as well. And subscribe to that channel. If you do want to join SHIPITNation.com, head over. Let me show you what you get quick. Projections for every sport. MMA's back this week. Very excited for that. Hold on. Where is two-shot overlay? 1 second. I'm struggling. There we go. Projections. NFL, of course, still going on tomorrow. Pretty big. I'm excited. Pretty big Thursday night football game. Heading into the weekend. In December, we'll have some 2-game slates. It's getting very busy. NBA season, of course. PGA on a break. MMA this week. NHL's been crushing. Shout out Nades. Saw some screenshots in the Discord. Projections for every sport. NBA, you can sort it by salary, sort it by all your teams, point per dollars. These are updated throughout the night. A lot of news changes in NBA. You need projections. We have them. Have ownership as well. GPP core report from Tambo, Rio, Nades and the guys. Cash report, 4 core plays on both sites. Always in the cash streets. Slate plan, to show really quick. Upper tier, mid tier, lower tier. Rio does it. Great breakdown on a lot of people. That is up the night before. Ceiling rankings. I'm not going to click this yet. They are live, though. We're soft launching it in the Discord. Tambo pinned a message in the NBA chat explaining ceiling rankings. So I'll let Tambo full launch it on Friday if he chooses. I don't want to be the first one. They are live on the site, though, so check that out. This will be early December. This is just Vegas odds, overview, team totals, spreads, and then NBA core or the showdown. Very few people do it. Rio does a core report, favorite captains, favorite flex, how he's attacking the showdown slate, which has pretty big prize pools. 50K up top for the main stuff, Monday through Friday at night. So check that out. Get in the Discord. $69 a month, 6 month, $59 a month, annual $49 a month. No better deal. That's enough of marketing, though. Time to talk some basketball, Rio. 7 games again on the slate. First game, here we go. Man, doing all this, the producer behind the scenes, the hosting, it's a little tough. Tambo makes it a little easier than it actually is. But first game, Washington Wizards taking on the Orlando Magic, 234 total. Orlando is favored by 10. No injury news on the Washington side you got to worry about. As far as Orlando, Jonathan Isaac questionable. Doesn't mean much for me. Fultz out. Wendell Carter out. Looking at ownership in this game, I think the Orlando side will get a little bit. Goga, Franz, Cole Anthony, Gary Harris. I think they're all Paulo. All these guys feel like they're solid price. I don't want to play too many of them in a lineup, though. Goga, I think, will be the most popular. Looks like another strong 2-center night. Then on the other side, don't really see much ownership going to Washington. You got any Kuzma call or something like that?
No, not really tonight. This game just probably screams it's going to be a blowout. I don't see the Wizards being able to hang with Orlando. Orlando is one of the best defenses in the league right now, second overall. Decently slow-paced team, but Washington plays as one of the fastest. They're the worst defense in the league right now, which makes a ton of sense with how bad they're playing. If you're building multiple lineups, I would have Kuzma in there. He's the only Wizard I'd have any interest in, just because he does have the pretty big upside. And anytime that the game is close, it's usually because Kuzma is having a good game. And yeah, that's all you can ask for when you're playing the Wizards, because if the games are close, you're going to see big scores from the opposing teams. Also seen it multiple times this year whenever Kuzma has had like a 50, 60 pointer, somebody on the other side is having a pretty big game also. So if I'm playing Kuzma, I definitely want a Magic guy in the comeback. That's the only way I would be getting to him. But yeah, all the Magic guys have super good matchups. Wizards, huge rim funnel. They have no rim defense right now with Daniel Gafford down there. So Magic are going to definitely be attacking down low. They're much more comfortable getting to the rim than shooting. So you can look at guys like Paulo, Cole Anthony, both the centers, Goga and Mo Wagner. really good matchups. I would definitely max one Goga and Mo Wagner. I'm not sure they're priced too close together and taking minutes away from each other. I'm not sure who's going to be the one to get more minutes that night, but
Gotta go with ownership. It's got to be Mo. If they're close to split with the minutes at this ownership, that's great leverage. I mean,
yeah.
man, that's strong. And yeah, I like that call because he's going to be 6 times high owned or something like that. Goga's going to be popular. I like that call for Wagner.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing some decent ownership on Orlando right now, so I think you can, if you wanted to gain some leverage in your lineup with some pivots. I mean, Paulo and Franz are looking at pretty low ownership compared to Cole Anthony and Suggs, the two guards. I mean, both their matchups are really good. Cole's been crushing lately. He went for 54 last game. Been playing close to 30 minutes a night. I mean, he could definitely pay off that tag, but it's tough for somebody coming off the bench and not really seeing mid-30s minutes. I would definitely be okay with one of Paulo or Franz. Franz has not shot the ball well, but even despite that, he's had a couple games in the 40s in the past 3 games, so he's kind of trending upwards. I think I like the matchup for Paulo the best. Mainly that's how I'm going to be playing. If I'm playing Kuzma, definitely have a Magic player. If not, I'm fine getting to Paulo or Mo Wagner, any of the Orlando Magic guys.
Yeah, I see it the same for a lot of it. Kuzma's the only wizard I would like, and if I am getting to multiple of these Magic, like I don't think I would play Franz and Paulo. I definitely wouldn't play Franz, Paulo, and Kuzma. It's using too much salary in a game that I don't really like. I wouldn't play Franz and Paulo together, I don't think. It's not wrong by any means, but if you're only playing a couple lineups, hand building out there, it's just 7-game slate. I think you're limiting your ceiling enough. And definitely if this game gets out of hand, you can really sink your lineup in min cash equity. But just Paulo or Franz, I would play, if you play one of those and then go like a Cole Anthony or Jalen Suggs, I would probably want Kuzma. If I have 3 Magic, I definitely want Kuzma. You want the game close. 2 of them, maybe lean toward it. I think you can play 1 Magic, even 2 Magic without a wizard. That's fine too. But I don't have a strong lean on any of these guys. Like Paulo, he's always burned me. It feels like he has been better as of late. Still 8-2, you got to do something. Franz at 7-5 is not a price tag I love. I like your Mo call because Batadze is going to be popular. 200 less. You also get power forward eligibility with Mo too on a strong center slate. So sign me up for that. Very, very low owned. Definitely do not play both of them together. Shamit for value, Williams says. We didn't mention him. That's not even. Oh, no. Don't play Landry Shamit today. All right, let's keep it rolling. Next game on this, he's going to go and drop 30. 10 threes for Shamit. Los Angeles Lakers, Detroit Pistons, 229.5 total. Lakers are favored by 7.5. Again, LeBron is questionable. We'll get this news before lock. They do play tomorrow, Rio mentioned, so good shout on that. Always important to look at. I mean, if he sits, the whole slate changes. We'll be in Discord, just like yesterday when the Heat didn't start Jaquez. They went Richardson, Love. We were in the Discord. That changed a lot. So monitor or LeBron news will be important. Rui out, Vanderbilt out. On the other side for the Pistons, nothing really changed at all. So no injury news on that front. If LeBron's in, I think this game's very low owned. Not a game I love too much. Jalen Duren, maybe you can touch on him a little bit. If LeBron's out, though, AD, you can mention everything, and that changes slate completely. And the Lakers would be the story of the slate. But what you got?
Yeah, so normally when LeBron has a questionable tag, it's more a probable tag. They always put the questionable game time decision tag on him, but this one seems a little bit more like a true questionable. Just, you're playing against one of the worst teams in the league. Pistons have lost 14 straight, just slipping on offense, slipping on defense. So, and the Lakers play Oklahoma City tomorrow, so that's a Western Conference rival. I think it just makes a lot of sense to maybe LeBron plays, but he's not seeing upper 30s minutes. I don't think Anthony Davis would see that either. I think that this kind of feels like a game where they stretch out the rotation. If everybody is in, kind of taking most of the guys out of play for me. I mean, if you want to get to like D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, they project fine. Matchup should be pretty good for them. Pistons kind of been giving up a bunch of points inside, even with Jalen Duren back. So matchup's pretty good for essentially everybody. Anthony Davis has a good matchup, but tough price tag to pay for him. when I just think this game is probably going to blow out. You might not see full rotation from everybody. So I don't have a ton of interest in anybody in the Lakers. That would definitely change if LeBron is out. We'll get the projections update. We'll get the starting update to see who's in play, but not a ton of interest in the Lakers right now. But yeah, it's kind of tough to invest into the Pistons too right now. They just got reamed in their in Monty Williams' press conference after the loss to the Wizards last game. So maybe there's a lineup change coming. I doubt it. I mean, Cade has really been the one that's been playing terrible on defense. So I don't, he's your franchise player. You can't take him out of the lineup. But I mean, yeah, the role has been really good for Cade. Not going to repeat what I say every time he's on the slate, but ball handling, usage, everything is up for him. One of the best roles. Minutes are high. Matchup's pretty good. Lakers don't have any on-ball defenders that should be able to stay in front of him. They will be getting Cam Reddish back, but doesn't really move the needle too much. And yeah, a little bit of interest in Jalen Duren. He's been playing better. Minutes are ticking up. Seen Anthony Davis give up pretty big games to some opposing centers on the year. Joel Embiid, Jared Allen, Sengun, DeAndre Ayton, a few other guys have all had pretty good games. And Jalen Duren definitely has upside. Got up to almost 50 DraftKings points last game. Done that multiple times this year. Wouldn't mind him. Can't get to Asar Thompson. Minutes are way down right now. Jaden Ivey looks like a pretty good value also. He's been starting the past 4 games, averaging almost 31 minutes a game, 16.5 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, almost 30 DraftKings points over that span. So he'll have an easy matchup versus D'Angelo Russell. I think he would probably be my favorite Piston. And yeah, I don't really want to look to any of the value guys right now. But yeah, mainly just Cade and Ivy on the Piston side.
Yeah, for Lakers side, it's just AD. I think he is an interesting contrarian spend at center. That's going to have – I mean, center is really loaded. We're talking about multiple centers. Jalen Duren on the other side. I think those are my two favorite plays. Their ownership have to be in check just because of the position. Again, I think it's a very strong 2-center night. And then, I mean, if LeBron's out, that AD, he'll be very, very chalky. Would even be a stronger center slate. Cade and Ivy is on the other side too. I think Duren's fine. Ivy, Cade, again, I don't want to play 2 max of these Pistons. And I really just like those 3. Ivy's price tag's good. Cade, again, he's in a range that people just can't really get to him. Plays a lot of minutes, has the ball in his hand a ton in chuck. So if he gets hot, he'll shoot even more. Always has that upside. I'm good with that. Let's keep it rolling. Next game on the slate. Again, appreciate everyone hanging out, watching live, watching on playback. If you could do us a favor, take 1 second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. We appreciate it. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Phoenix Suns headed to Toronto. 227 total. The Suns are favored by 3. On the Phoenix side, Grayson Allen and KD are questionable. Not sure why I said Grayson Allen before KD, but they both are questionable. Both do mean a little bit. If KD's out, Bates Diaw would probably start again, offer some value. Obviously, like the Suns would be a story of a slate if KD and Grayson are out. The Lakers would be the story of the slate if LeBron's out. So this news is important. Hopefully we get this one before lock. Bradley Beal's out for Phoenix as well. On the other side, nothing on Toronto. If KD's in, I don't think I like this game at all. I mean, I don't think I want him as a contrarian spend. It's not the worst thing. Siakam's price tag at this point, I know it's different positions. I'd rather play Cade, though. Jakob Poeltl, like that's a good center position. It's a complete X if the KD's in. If he's out, I think you can get to, I don't know, Book's still expensive, but then like the Cade Diaw, some of these value pieces, if Grayson's out, maybe Eric Gordon, I don't know. Touch on that because I think that's really the only thing that matters in this game. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, so on the Suns side, I think that there's a chance KD probably returns. Last game against the Knicks, he went through shoot around and looked like he was gearing up to play, but I think they just want to hold him out for a game. So he's probably back tonight. Don't really have much on Grayson Allen. Illness tag usually never good, so maybe he sits. That would open up more minutes for Eric Gordon, Jordan Goodwin. Probably Okogie would stay in the starting lineup, I'm guessing. But yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised to see maybe somebody surprise sitting for the Raptors. They played a ton of minutes last night in season tournament game. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like a probably wouldn't be Scotty Barnes, but maybe like a OG or something along those lines. I doubt they sit, but that's just something to think about with
OG had
that
a
play.
night off yesterday, as Michael's
That's true.
talking about, so he doesn't need
Yeah.
another one.
Yep, definitely true. But yeah, I mean, if KD's in, I agree with you. I don't think that there's really much you'd want to go to in this game. KD's out, Booker will be another good play regardless of the matchup versus OG. Huge usage rate with no KD or Beal on the floor. Huge assist percentage, just all the numbers trending upwards if KD and Beal are off the floor for him. And then, yeah, if both KD and Grayson Allen are not playing tonight, then I think you go back to Eric Gordon too. The matchup's much better for him than Devin Booker. Going to see Dennis Schroeder, so that's a much better for him. We just saw Spencer Dinwiddie have a really good game against this team last night. So Eric Gordon's he'll play mid 30s minutes. He's got a little bit of upside, not like a 50-point upside by any means, but mid 30s may be enough on this type of slate. And I'm pretty fine just fading all of the Raptors pieces. Don't really like Nurkic either. Just he's not taking any shots right now. We get more rebounds, so he's got a chance to get a double-double. But at the same price tag, I would rather just play a guy like Jalen Duren, something like that. So yeah, not a ton of interest in this game if KD is in, but if he's out, we can definitely look to some guys.
Yep, we're on the same page there. If KD's out, starters will be important for Phoenix. Again, projections will be updated. Very important to look at that. I do think like the Bates Diaw, Eric Gordon, both 10-3, but still definitely would be a solid play. And we would have more value to get up to a guy like that. So let's keep it rolling. Next game on the slate, 7-game slate. And as Chris said, good luck to anybody out there in the $2,500 milli. Wouldn't that be nice waking up tomorrow morning, $1 million richer? Next game on the slate, Philadelphia 76ers, New Orleans Pelicans, 230 total. Philly is favored by 2.5. Kelly Oubre is still out for Philly. That is it. On the Pelican side, Trey Murphy doubtful, Matt Ryan doubtful. Nothing that matters at all. I don't like this game one bit. Injury news isn't going to change anything. Easy cross off 7-game to a 6-game for me, except Embiid's so interesting because it's that center position that's so good. On the slate right now, we don't have much value, but we do have a lot of Q tags that can open up value. There's no chance Embiid's going to get high owned, I think, in any scenario, because if KD's out, then you get Booker. If LeBron's out, you get AD. And I like this spot. The price tag's still fair. Again, it's just we don't have the value, and the dude has slate breaking upside. So I like Embiid now as a contrarian spend. Ownership might go up a little bit, I guess, if some of these Q tags open up or rolled out and more value opens, but it's still got to be sub 10% and pretty low. Embiid or bust for me, but I think he's very interesting. What about you?
Yeah, for sure. Joel Embiid been amazing this year. I usually am not more so on the Embiid camp as much, but he's really making me more of a fan this year. I just love the way he's playing. I was listening to a couple of guys on the ETR podcast earlier today talking about just teams running their offense through centers a little bit more, and you can definitely see that apparent with Joel Embiid. I mean, his usage is way up, 36%. He actually leads the team in assist percentage, which is awesome to see because it just raises his floor and his ceiling from a fantasy perspective. He's become a really, really good passer, and the matchup is really good for him versus Jonas Valanciunas. He's crushed this matchup twice last year, went for 42, 11, and 5. And 37, 8, and 5. So his ceiling is definitely one of the higher ones on the slate, especially if Jokic is out. He would definitely have the biggest ceiling. So I love Embiid here. Probably will have the value to get up to him now. So I think we could definitely look to him. Probably my favorite spend up as of now.
I keep forgetting that Houston news hit right when we came live. So we did have more value than I keep talking about. We'll touch on that the next game. But yeah, good call.
Yeah, and so I love Embiid as a spend up here. A little bit tougher to get to Tyrese Maxey. Matchup's going to be pretty tough too against Herb Jones, Dyson Daniels, the two really solid guard defenders. So I don't really have an interest in him at 9,200 with everybody healthy. Yeah, mainly. I mean, everybody on the Sixers would be a cross off. I guess if you wanted to get like a value play, we don't really need it now, but Nick Batum has been playing well. Probably won't need to go down there now. And then, Pelicans, pretty easy cross-off. CJ McCollum is going to be back, so that'll be good to see. yeah, that just takes a ton of upside out of Brandon Ingram, Zion. If I had to choose one of those three, I would prefer Zion. Matchup's a little bit better for him with the Sixers kind of struggling to defend inside, and that's just where he's going to live all day. So he has the best matchup, but definitely doesn't stand out at 9K as a smash by any means. Mainly just Embiid in this game for me.
Yep, we see it same way. Embiid or bust. Embiid definitely is interesting, and again, a little more value than we initially thought. Our projections, everything. I don't think projection got the update yet. Yeah, no, I haven't seen it yet. But Boomer will push the Houston update, of course, like we always do. Starters will be important, but we're gonna have to make some guessing because this game's at 9 Eastern. A lot of those games early we can't ignore. So Fred VanVleet's out, obviously starting point guard. Probably Aaron Holiday slides in. I feel pretty confident about that. They really just don't have a backup one. Jalen Green will play the 2, Brooks, Jabari, Sengun. So I think that's how it goes for starting. Jayshawn Tate, though, pretty big role off the bench. And then Tari Eason's still questionable as well, which, like, if Eason's out, they're going to be so thin. Like Jeff Green's, Reggie Bullock's, like they're going to run their starters upper 30s all the minutes in the world. So, yeah, we definitely have value there. Touch a little on Aaron Holiday, 4.1K, so he's not completely free. And, I mean, Jalen Green, talk about teams running offenses through their centers. Houston does that a lot with Sengun, a great passer there. So it's not like Aaron Holiday steps into a usage role. I don't know. If he's chalky, no way I want there. I'm not sure he'll get there, though. Yeah, and we'll look at projections. That plays a huge part in NBA, DFS. But talking through it, Rockets interesting. Jalen Green at like 6'8", Sengun at 8'5", Brooks at 5'4", Jabari Smith at 6'1". Those are the guys I know I'm interested in. What do you see in this game? Any interest on the other side too with the Nuggets? Obviously waiting on big news on that side as well with Jokic, Jamal, Aaron Gordon.
Yes, I obviously didn't have any time to kind of digest how this would play out with no Fred VanVleet because the news hit as we got on here. But yeah, like you said, Aaron Holiday probably slides into the starting lineup. Historically been a really low usage guy, low fantasy points per minutes guy. So I would probably be okay getting away from it, but it might be tough if you just want to get to Embiid. I would probably be, depending on your roster construction, I'd probably be fine eating the chalk at 4-1. I mean, the opportunity is for sure going to be there. I would not be surprised to see Tari Eason sit either, just with his injury history and this being a back-to-back situation. So going to open up another rotation spot. I'm not exactly sure who they even have on their roster that they could put in there because they've been running a pretty tight rotation lately. So we'll definitely have to see the updates and see who we could look to, but definitely Aaron Holiday, have interest in him. Kind of fine not playing any of Sengun or Jalen Green in this one, just because this being a back-to-back heading into Denver, like our guy Boomer always says, you want to fade teams going into Denver on a back-to-back. Just think that there's a lot of ways that this could go wrong for those main guys. I guess if I had to choose one, I'd probably like Jabari Smith the best, just with how he's been playing and the price tag. Power forward eligible, which is nice, but not running to play Sengun even with Fred VanVleet out. I mean, Denver's a pretty solid defense, and the spread is probably going to grow even wider. It's at 8.5 when we got on here, so I would assume it's probably in double digits now with Fred VanVleet out and Eason and Jayshawn Tate probably out. So we'll definitely be talking about it more in Discord and how we can attack it. I just don't have a ton to add to it right now as we're on the spot, but we'll see where the projections shake out. But yeah, Jokic or bust on the Nugget side. If he's out, if Jamal Murray's out, Aaron Gordon's out, you could definitely go back to Reggie Jackson, DeAndre Jordan. I mean, they looked like young Kobe and Shaq out there the other night against the Clippers, who are supposed to be a pretty good defense. So definitely can go right back to them if you want to. But
yeah, it's still 8.5. Still a pretty big spread, though. I think I have a little more interest in the Jalen Greens, the Senguns of the world, right in that mid-tier build still. And Fred VanVleet, I mean, Jalen Green especially. Aaron Holiday is only going to do so much. I think Jalen Green's going to have to chuck, have the ball in his hand a lot, and they're going to need their scoring to keep it close. It'd be interesting. All right, Jokic, just say he's in. Jokic or Embiid?
I probably lean Embiid in this one.
Yeah, that's my thoughts too. 11-8 for Embiid, 12-8 for Jokic. So right there, that 1,000 savings goes a long way. But man, I like this spot a lot for Embiid. So doubt I get to Jokic, but I mean, obviously if he's out, we saw the DeAndre Jordan, we saw Reggie Jackson, we saw how that went. So monitor Jamal, monitor Aaron Gordon. Looking at chat, wins a lot. Let's have a day. And thank you, Brian. We did skip that game. I let him know in chat. What are we sipping? That is a good question, Michael. What are you sipping, Brian? Embiid over Joker. Michael agrees there too. So 2 games left. Again, we skipped. I skipped the Utah-Memphis game. We touched on Houston.
Jazz.
Your Utah Jazz. So we touched on the 9 p.m. Denver-Houston game, but we'll be in Discord. Again, projections will be updated with that Houston news that hit right when we came live on the show. 2 games left. Utah Jazz, Memphis Grizzlies, 224 total. Memphis is favored by 4.5. Some injury news in this one. Lauri Markkanen's out. Kelly Olynyk and Jordan Clarkson are questionable. On the Memphis side, Smart is out. Nothing else is different on that Memphis side. So before we came on the show, and I think probably still as of now, if the Q-Tags, the LeBrons of the world are in, Bane, Jaren Jackson, I think they're pretty popular mid-tier options. Again, I think Sengun might be in that consideration now, Jalen Green, but they fit this mid-tier build that I still think is more popular than stars and scrubs right now. So would you max one? Again, Bane and Jackson, I think, will be popular. Would you allow them both in tournaments? Would you max one? A couple other guys, I think, get ownership. Bismack, Santi, right in that mid-tier as well. How many Memphis is too many? Then touch on the Utah side, your Utah Jazz, as you like to say. Markkanen's out, and if Clarkson's out, it can only get better. If Kelly O's out, like it could be a full Utah spot if both of them ruled out. Touch on if-then scenarios and how you see this one going.
Yeah, so I'll start with the Utah side. Not a strong lean if Clarkson's going to be in. I mean, there's definitely a chance he sits because he was probable in the last game and played and then got downgraded to questionable. So there's a good chance that he sits. Spread indicates that a little bit with it being 4.5, 5-point spread, wherever you're seeing it. And Kelly Olynyk, same thing, questionable, could definitely be out. That would open up a ton of value. And I would definitely be looking to load up on a few of the Jazz guys. I wouldn't want to get up to John Collins. Mainly, I would look at Keontae George, Walker Kessler, the THT, Colin Sexton range. I think all those guys will have pretty high minutes. I mean, you could even go down to Ochai Agbaji if you want to. Simone Fontecchio, really good matchup for 3-point shooters. I'm a little softy for Keontae George. Really love the way the kid plays, and he's been getting better and better each game, more confident with his shot. So I think he actually has pretty good upside here. I've been saying that pretty much every time we've talked about the Jazz, but matchup could not be better for point guard. So I like him a good bit, and definitely would. I mean, he would probably be an elite play in my eyes if Clarkson is out. We didn't mention that Chris Dunn is out too. It's not a huge rotation piece, but it's definitely another guard that they won't have in the lineup. So that will open up some more minutes for a few other guys. He did start a few games ago, but that was with Clarkson out. So yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of ways you could play the Jazz side. And then I originally did not have a ton of interest in the Memphis side, but Bane and Jaren Jackson, they have to be in play, especially if, like you said, if we don't get the injury news that we were hoping for and we're looking at a more mid-tier build, then you could definitely – I think you could play both of them. I think you'd be fine with that. Jazz are still struggling on defense. They've been better the past 2 games since they changed up the rotation, but both those games were against the Pelicans, so it's kind of tough to factor that in too much. This is the 3rd time that these teams will be playing, so we kind of have an idea of how it's going to play out. We know that the Jazz are going to want to bomb threes. Memphis is going to want to get inside and score, and does bode well for the Grizzlies that the Jazz are one of the worst transition defense, so we should see them getting out and running right away. But I mean, the matchup is really good for Desmond Bane. Jazz have no guard defenders right now, no good on-ball defenders, so we saw him go for 60+ in the same matchup. He's just been playing so well right now. It's kind of tough for me to click on him. I mean, anytime somebody at 8'5" has the downside of getting you 20 fantasy points in 34 minutes, that's rough. So, but I mean, he's projecting really well right now, so I'll definitely have some of him. I mean, same for Jaren Jackson too. The floor is really low. Parabay noted in chat earlier that his ceiling has really taken a big hit since they've started playing more Santi Aldama, and I mean, you can definitely see that. I don't think he's cracked 40 in like 8 or 9 games. Even in 37 minutes last game, only got up to 35 points. So tough to invest into these Memphis guys right now, just with how bad they're playing.
What do you see Walker Kessler? We have Walker Kessler projected 26, 28 minutes across the industry. If he gets 30, obviously way better play. Then we get someone like Chunky Blue talking Yurt-7. So how do you think starters go? Last time, it was Walker Kessler off the bench, minutes limit. What do they say? 25 to 28, 24, 26.
I think it was 21 to 26, and he got exactly 26.
21, 26, got exactly 26. So I looked at our projections. We have him for 24. A lot of volatility in that projection, or in those minutes for sure. But you give him 30 minutes, I mean, he's a phenomenal play. And again, at the center position, that's tough. I have interest. But what are your thoughts on Yurt-7 too? Because if he's on the lower end of the minutes, which I don't see, but if so, I guess you don't get leverage off of Kessler because I don't think he's going to be too popular. But what are your thoughts there? Because he's 5K and they split the center minutes and Yurt-7 gets 25, 28 minutes. I mean, he would be a fine play too. So how do you see the 5 working out?
Yeah, I mean, the Yurt-7 starting thing was just kind of a change in the rotation. It's not something that's going to stick the whole year. They obviously have a lot invested into Walker Kessler. So
do you think today though, or do you think Kessler's back today?
I think it makes sense just to keep Yurt-7 in the starting lineup just with how good the team has played the past couple of games. I mean, adding Simone Fontecchio in there and Yurt-7 has kind of, it's given them a bit of a boost defensively. So I think that they still start, but the minutes are definitely going to be shifting more in Kessler's favor each game that passes. He returned from injury 3 games ago, and it was an elbow injury, so it's not something you really need to ramp up a ton. It's not a lower body injury, so I think he'll be closer to probably 28-ish minutes. I think 30 is probably the high end for him. I don't think he gets above that, but I think 28 is definitely in play for him.
I like it. I'm in for Walker Kessler. He's probably my favorite Jazz. He has that upside when he gets the minutes, man. Double machine. And I like Jaren Jackson. I like Bane. Santi's fine. Biz is going to get some ownership, so we talk about it a little bit. Go to the other side of the chalk center. I like Walker Kessler a lot. Clarkson News is important. I think that's when I'd get if he's out, Keontae George. Otherwise, I can't get there at 6'1". So Kessler bust for me. If they're in Bane, Jaren Jackson, Santi, I guess Biombo's fine, but other centers I prefer there. Derrick Rose, someone mentioned.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. It's tough to pay 4-4 for him with they have a good amount of guard depth right now, and they just signed Jalen Noel to a 10-day a few days ago, and he got talked up by their head coach, said that he played well, and they want to get him more minutes. I mean, he's min-priced too, and the matchup is good for guards against the Jazz. So if you wanted to look to him, I would much rather play a 3K Jalen Noel, who I know has really big scoring upside, than 52-year-old Derrick Rose.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's like before, again, I guess this kind of ties into Eric right here. Every solver model he's ran had 3 to 4 Grizzlies. Is that overstacking, etc.? So, I wouldn't worry about that too much in NBA. Like, if that's what if that's what projections are giving you. Like yesterday, I played a ton of Heat, all the Heat. It was just the story of the slate. The Grizzlies I think if you run the solver in an hour and a half, 2 hours, especially if this news hits, the Q tags are out, you'll see a lot less Grizzlies. I still think even with this Houston news, you might get a little less. I still think 3 or 4, I think is a little much. I definitely still think you can go 3, though. Again, my favorites, Bane, Jaren Jackson, Santi, and then I'd go Biz. But again, if news hits, the less Grizzlies would be in play. But it makes sense there. Projections always update. Projections are king for sure in NBA. You got me looking. Abaji's not a Wisco kid, unfortunately. He is a hooper, though, but he is not a Wisco kid. We got 1 game left on the slate. Go ahead, touch on that.
This is definitely true. He's been scoring the ball a little bit better. I definitely do not agree with that, but I'm telling you, once this kid puts it all together, he will not be in the 6Ks very long. He's got a ton of upside.
I like it. You always got to be early to plays. It won't always work out, but you always got to – that's what the eye test. You watch a lot of ball. You scout some guys. That's so you take pride in always seeing talent before it exists. Got to buy low on players. I like your take on Keontae George. If Clarkson's out, I can get to some for sure. Last game on the slate, Rio, 10 p.m. Eastern. Again, appreciate everyone hanging out. Hit that like button. Helps us out a ton. And if you want to join us at SHIPITNation.com, head over. $69 a month for monthly, $59 a month. Comes out to for our 6-month package. Annual comes out to $49 a month. Get in the Discord as well. Projections updated throughout the night. Core reports as well. Tools coming out as well. He's from Milwaukee. What? I looked up his college or his high school. It said he played in Missouri. I don't know if he moved early or what. Could be wrong, but I do not remember Abaji, and I even looked it up. It said he played in Missouri, but last game on the slate, not one I think has too much ownership, but you did mention the Kings that you wouldn't be surprised if someone sat. We're not backloading for it. If we get the news, we get the news. But how we have it right now, 231 total. Clippers are favored by 2. Nothing on the Clippers side for the injury report. Keegan Murray is the only questionable tag for the Kings. Great call on Fox yesterday. Again, you mentioned these guys played a lot of minutes. I don't really get to the Clippers when they're healthy and they have so many guys. The price tags come down a little bit. Like I think Kawhi would be at AK. He stands out, power forward eligible. But I still don't know if I really want that on this slate. I think I like the other games. Make a 7-game slate. At this time, a 5-game slate, since I said didn't really like the Toronto game either. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. What do you got?
Yeah. So I don't know if they're going to sit guys, but I would not be surprised to see the lower range of minutes for guys like De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, even Kevin Huerter. All these guys played a ton of minutes last night. De'Aaron Fox, one of my favorite players in the league, played 40 minutes last night. He had super tired legs. I mean, he was just gassed out there. Couldn't make any free throws, was short on a ton of his shots. And, I mean, that just tells you that he was just gassed. So I don't think he's getting up to his normal 36, 37 minutes. I think probably has shorter rotations. I think he played like the last 16 minutes of the game or something like that. So he'll definitely be a little bit limited, I think. And that could open up some more minutes for maybe Malik Monk. They're never really wanting to give him a ton of minutes off the bench. I mean, he's a spark plug. I love watching him play too. But, you know, they got Keon Ellis back. He'll probably get some more minutes. Davion Mitchell, who's just got zero offensive skill, probably going to see low teens minutes for De'Aaron Fox. I don't really have a ton of interest in any of the guys on the Kings right now. Maybe Sabonis, just he didn't really play a ton of minutes last night. I think he got up to 37. Yeah, 37 minutes last night. Did not play very good. 9, 10, and 8. Only shot the ball 7 times, but 10-1 is a reasonable price tag. I don't love it though. And then, yeah, like you said on the Clippers, tough to pick which one of these guys that are going to have the good game. Kawhi projects as the best value right now. He has the best matchup too. The Kings are bottom 8 in DVP versus power forwards on the year. Definitely should be a matchup he should have success in. And he just doesn't have that same upside as before with him getting up there in age, this team being fully healthy, having higher usage guys around him. So I originally liked him when we didn't have value, but I just don't think you need to go there. If it was a mid-tier build type of night, then I would be okay getting him, and maybe him getting 43, 44 fantasy points would probably be enough. But I don't think it's going to be enough on a night like tonight where we'll get some more value. And, yeah, James Harden, want to keep trying to make this happen, but not sure it's going to. His usage is way down. Assist rate numbers are pretty good, but he's just not touching the ball much, not shooting the ball very well. So I'm fine getting away from him. Daniel Tice projects as an okay value. Minutes were down last game with Zubac getting there more, but on an average night, he'll probably see close to 20 minutes, and he's a pretty solid fantasy producer. Probably won't need to go there now with the Rockets' value, but those are the guys I'm mainly looking for. I'm kind of okay just crossing this game off for the most part, though, just like you said.
Hey, Brandon, never mind. I'm not even going to get into it. Yeah, 7 games. There we go. Fun slates. He's not even saying anything bad. He's just making me laugh. Would go on a tangent that no one needs to hear. Waste everyone's time. 7-game slate. I mean, Q tags are obviously very important. I think, though, if KD's in, cross off that Toronto game, cross off this last game, make it a 5-game slate. A lot of people like making it easier on themselves, especially in a sport like NBA. A lot of the important news is early, so hopefully we have it before lock. Again, it doesn't mean someone on the Kings won't randomly be ruled out. You see scratches in hockey, you see scratches in baseball. NBA, you'll get a random news at some point, which changes the whole slate and offers a huge edge. A lot of the edge in NBA is obviously with late swap and stuff, but it looks like a lot of the injury news at least should be early. All of our content will be up. Changes always in yellow. A lot of new people ask, what does that mean if it's in yellow? That means someone else was in there, news hit, or something changed. If no news hit, something just changed for us. We update it. That's the new core. Again, projections updated throughout the night. Tagged in Discord every time. Projection stamps updated. It's also uploaded in the solver, our partner optimizer over here. Head over to SHIPIT.com. Again, monthly, 6-month, annual packages. Check it out. Rio, final thoughts on this slate? And are you going to be? Did you have any satellites in the Millie Maker? I don't believe. I think you and I, both the poor ones here. But are you going to be in that Millie Maker tonight with a chance?
No, not tonight. I'm possibly taking the night off. Just under the weather right now, so it'd be a good time to just go sit in the sauna today and take the night off and come back and watch some games. But our guy Brandon, he really wants to play De'Aaron Fox. Definitely not telling you not to play him. I love De'Aaron Fox, but just telling you what I saw last night. Played 40 minutes. So if you want to play a guy on a back-to-back playing 40 minutes the night before, then go right ahead. I would not blame you.
Yeah, you can always play De'Aaron Fox, and that's the great thing about this game at DFS. You put your money in, you can't blame anybody else. That's one of my favorite things, and actually falling in love with this, one of those added benefits. Sometimes in the workforce, whatever, you can achieve a bunch, you be on a team, someone else lets you down, you don't get that bonus, you don't get that because of someone else and not you. You lose money, who you looking at? Ain't nobody but yourself putting that lineup in. So that's how I see it. Play De'Aaron Fox, come back and brag tomorrow, Brandon. One other chat, I appreciate it. Coach is good. Then last thing, someone said, mention that about yellow again. So if something changes, like on the cash report, I'm going to put plays up after the show pretty shortly. More than likely, that'll probably change because some news hits yesterday. Hawkins didn't start. I took him out. I put Kevin Love, Richardson, etc. As NBA changes, we have to change. We update our content throughout the night. That's enough of that, though. A lot of talking. Rio, you have a great night. Everybody out there, have a good night. Brandon, he is 25 years old, and I hope he wins you a lot of money tonight.
Play him tonight, Brandon.
Good luck, Brandon. Good luck, everybody out there. Hit that like button on the way out. We'll see you in the Shipping Nation Discord. My man, Rio, I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.